Hello, everyone. Tonight, I have a terrifying story to share with you. Have you ever been so sick that you had to stay overnight in a hospital? This story is about a woman named Mary, someone who had experienced paranormal events since she was a child. To her, ghosts were nothing new. She wasn't afraid anymore. This happened almost 15 years ago when Mary was in her early 20s. She was originally from New Jersey and lived with her father, who worked at a restaurant and wasn't in good health. To support herself through college, Mary worked part-time jobs. She had a dream to graduate and become a teacher in her hometown. Eventually, she got accepted into a well-known university in New York, and that's where she met Matt. They studied in the same program and quickly fell in love. Matt was tall, with a dark complexion, and by coincidence, he was also from New Jersey. After graduation, they achieved their dream. Both became teachers at a school back in New Jersey. They built a life together, got married, and had 2 children, a boy and a girl. At the time this story happened, their son was 3 years old and their daughter was just 1. Because both of them worked far from home and had very little time, they often left their children with Mary's mother. They were always together. Until one day, Matt went on a camping trip with his old high school friends. He loved hiking and outdoor adventures. This trip lasted 5 days, and Mary stayed home to take care of the kids. Everything seemed normal until the night Matt returned. Just one night after coming back, he suddenly developed a very high fever. His body was burning hot. He was sweating heavily and began to hallucinate. Mary was terrified. She couldn't drive, so she asked a neighbor to rush them to the hospital. Even during the ride, Matt kept mumbling incoherently. At the hospital, he was immediately taken into the emergency room. IV tubes were connected everywhere. That night, Mary stayed by his side. The doctor placed Matt in a room with a window for better air circulation. Mary sat beside him, watching him sleep under the effect of medication. She was too worried to sleep. After a while, she felt a sharp pain in her stomach, so she turned to go to the bathroom. But suddenly, knock, knock, knock. A sound came from the window, like something hard hitting the glass. 2, maybe 3 times. She turned to look. Nothing. She assumed it was just tree branches hitting the window from the wind. So she went to the bathroom and came back. Around 2 a.m., Mary accidentally fell asleep. Knock, knock. The sound came again. This time, she woke up, and what she saw made her freeze. Outside the window stood an old woman, around 70, maybe 80 years old. She was knocking on the glass, smiling, a wide, unnatural smile. But she wasn't looking at Mary. She was staring at Matt. Then suddenly, the old woman noticed her. She slowly turned and smiled sweetly at Mary and walked away. Moments later, Mary felt something strange again. Someone was standing outside the window. This time, it was a young man with a shaved head, a stitched wound across his skull, one eye swollen shut, as if he had been brutally injured. He smiled at her, just like the old woman. Before she could react, he walked away too. That night, more and more figures appeared, one by one, standing outside the window, smiling, watching, then disappearing. Nearly 10 of them. At first, Mary felt comforted. At least, she wasn't alone. But then she realized something. Why were patients walking outside in the middle of the night? Eventually, she fell asleep again. The next morning, a nurse came in to check on Matt. Still confused, Mary told her everything. The nurse froze. Her face turned pale. And she said, "This room is on the 3rd floor, and there is no balcony outside." Mary slowly walked to the window and looked down. There was nothing. No place for anyone to stand. At that moment, she knew what she saw that night were not living people. Later that morning, Matt regained consciousness. Relieved, Mary told him everything. But his reaction was not what she expected. Matt looked terrified and said, "I woke up last night too, but you weren't in the room. That must have been when she went to the bathroom." Then Matt continued, "There were people all around me. Men, women, elderly, children, almost 10 of them. But they didn't look normal. Some were missing limbs. Some had torn flesh, blood covering their bodies. Some had only one eye. They surrounded his bed, whispering, 'Come with us, come with us.' Over and over again, some of them jumped onto the bed." Matt said he was so terrified he passed out. Mary was speechless. She apologized over and over again for leaving him alone. Matt believed that because his body was weak from illness, it made him vulnerable. That night, the doctor allowed him to go home. On the way back, they both wondered if they had stayed one more night, what would have happened to them? And that was the story of Mary and Matt. What do you think? Were those spirits trying to take him with them? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Dark Origins for more terrifying stories. Thanks you.